right, we are live. Good morning, everyone. And for anyone who's joining me later, we're live doing a presentation with two videos. The first one is a deep dive into our archives, and the second one is a more recent recording from a live stream that we did a couple of years ago in the Blue Mountains. I can see that there's a couple of people who joined me already. Please say hi, let me know who's here so I can greet you properly. All right, so the Gardens Festival was the Leura Gardens Festival, which happens every October. And we did that in 2022 over a series of live streams over a weekend. This is the third of those that happened on the first day. And we had a lot of rain that year. So the first stream we did was in a heritage. Hi, good morning, Annette. The first one we did was in a heritage garden, a National Trust property. The second one we did was in a beautiful privately owned property, but the signal was dreadful, so I had to abandon it and do a recording. I've actually linked. Is the screen black? No, it is not meant to be black. Okay, so I'm assuming that means that we don't have very good signal, which is a bit of a worry. Okay, I am here. Excellent. I do have a poor signal, which I'm really, really annoyed about because I'm sitting in my house with my Wi-Fi router just a very short distance away, and to get one bar in that situation is rather annoying. Hi, Anne. Great to see you. I'm here but frozen. Oh, excellent. All right. I'm going to actually see if I can switch to my 4G, my linked hotspot to my phone. Let's give that a try and see if that's any better. Although okay. How's that looking now? Am I with you or not? Because I don't like the look of it from this end. Still frozen, Annette? Better. Slightly better? Okay, all right. Well, we're going to hotspot off my phone, the 4G network, instead of using the Wi-Fi. This is Australian internet, people. I'm no longer frozen. Oh, that's good. All right. So so this is the third gardens that we went to on that day. It was still raining intermittently, and the signal was still not great, but better than during the second one. The second one I ended up abandoning and taking a recording of, and I've linked to that in the description. So if you want to go back and have a look at that, beautiful, it was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful garden with lakes and ponds and bridges and sculpture and the whole box and dice. So that recording link is in the description. But before we do all that, I'm going to no, please, no. I understand you're not complaining, Annette. I do need to know. If you can't see me, then I need to try and figure out how to remedy that. So yes, please. Thank you for the feedback. Hi, Dorley. Great to see you. Hot in Israel, 34 degrees at night. Oh, that's horrible. We sympathise in Australia. We sympathise with you for those conditions, Dorley. So before we do all that and head into the gardens, I've got a short dive into the archives again, and this time we are in Kenya. We were lucky enough to. The situation was at the time that we were living in London that I actually won an incentive trip, a sales incentive trip, that we weren't allowed to take because of the Iraq War. So our company management decided that instead of taking the entire top tier sales force, I was just the middle tier, the top tier were achieving more than I was. But anyway, instead of taking them on incentive trips on planes and risk potentially losing their entire sales force that were selling lots of Canon copiers, that they would issue vouchers instead and have a weekend event in Scotland. So with the travel vouchers, we bought a trip to Kenya. And this is the first day. This is the actual very first day that we were there in Kenya. So let's have a look at that. And I'm going to switch up to this view and we will go now to the recording. It is very old footage. Please be sympathetic to the condition of the footage and the sound. Those are guitars, Dorley, and that is Richard's collection of guitars. He plays a bass guitar, and I think there's a cigar box guitar and an acoustic guitar over there. And I'm not hearing any sound. I do have music, but there's no music there. Okay, well that's a shame because I did put some music on this video, but we're not hearing it. So basically this is the accommodation that we were staying in, a place called Shimba Hills Lodge. It's still there, and it's like a gigantic tree house. So we arrived and were blown away. Well, we had some idea from the little picture in the travel brochure of what it was going to look like, but we were totally blown away when we arrived. This is the accommodation in the rainforest near the coast in Kenya. It's also attached to the Shimba Hills Safari Park, or the reserve. So that's the reception when you arrive. That's how you're greeted with this. And there's the photo of the president of Kenya is always everywhere that you go. And it's situated above. This is now moving into a seating area, a dining area, and it's situated above a waterhole. And every night they used to try and entice the leopard to come in for the viewer's pleasure, for the diner's pleasure. We never saw the leopard though. This is a mongoose that was just happened to be down by the waterhole. And I had to look him up. I couldn't remember what it was, so I actually had to Google this fellow to figure out what he was. So apparently it's a slender mongoose. And that's a hornbill that used to come in and look at his reflection in the window. Sorry about the sound. I did actually put quite a cool African music soundtrack to the back of this, but I don't know why it's not playing. And then when you walk out of reception or out of the hotel, you can walk around along this boardwalk, out around the waterhole. I tried to cut out as much of the walking video as possible because it's very shaky. We were new to video cameras back in those days. There's a lookout point up those stairs, and there was another one at the end of the boardwalk. And those lamps beside the track were all lit up at night, so it looked lovely when you walked out here at night. And there's a really big lizard down there, kind of a monitor lizard, not unlike the goannas that we see here in Australia. Yes, Annette, he did, but not for as long as I did. I worked for Canon for almost the entire time that we were in London. Richard changed jobs. He actually worked for British Sky Broadcasting, which later became BSB, selling satellite dishes. among other jobs. He worked for a company that sold, a German company that sold hotel supplies. You know, the little bottles of shampoos and soaps and what have you that you get in your room. He was working for the company that supplied those to hotel chains. I said, something else, huh? So back along the trail, along the boardwalk. Oh, look, I wasn't a technician, Annette. I only sold them. You might have to consult ChatGPT on how to figure out your printer problem. And that's actually the hotel there on the left. That's the building. It's insane. It's just like being in a gigantic treehouse. I look like a walking billboard, don't I? Okay, sound is very low. Can you hear me talking at all, Dolly? There is meant to be music there, but there's no music. I don't know why there's no music. I can't hear the music at all, but you should be able to hear me okay. And then we have a little red squirrel. Look at him. This little cute little squirrel that we came across. Also resident of the accommodation. Volume on max so I can hear you, not the background. Oh no, yeah, I can't hear the background music either, Dolly. If it's there at all, if you can hear background music, lucky you. I don't know why I can't hear it. It's my constant frustration trying to mix in music into my recordings. I just don't seem to be getting it right, and yeah. So then we hopped into the accommodation run safari trucks, and headed out to see what we could see that day. This is obviously the landscape in the vicinity. Hi Matthew, great to see you. Lovely to thank you for coming along. So we are in Kenya right now, Matthew, just for a few more minutes. We dived back into the archives again. It looks very familiar to me, that landscape. So here's our first encounter with African wildlife outside of where we were staying. A lovely, beautiful giraffe. So thrilling to see these animals the first time we see them. It was just such a thrill. Yeah, it's really it's really lovely going back and looking at this old video and reminding ourselves of some of the experiences that we had all those years ago. Quite incredible, really, that we had these opportunities. Isn't that magnificent? And it says, I had a dream the other night that my landlord opened a petting zoo in my backyard without telling me, and I found out when a giraffe waltzed past my living room window. Wouldn't that be fun? Now, these guys here, you don't notice them at all until they start flapping their ears. They're so well hidden in the colour of the landscape. So that was Kenya, and that means I'm finished with the first the first tape that we got back from the video converted place. That's the first one done and dusted. And I'm partway through the second one. We've got so much footage. I'm going to have to be just ruthless. The next bit of vintage footage that I'm going to be working on is from Russia. So, and that was very cool. That trip was very cool. All right, so let's head down into the Leura Gardens Festival. We'll get that one up. And
final tour for today. And we're covering 2 gardens. I was going to do 3.
Now, why aren't I seeing anything?
The first one is just too far to walk between. I can't obviously drive.
There we go.
So I've cut it down to 2, and we'll just take our time going through. So good afternoon. Sorry, Jason, Cheryl, Julie, and Ellen. Everyone who's come back for the second or third time today. Welcome back. Hi, Jane. So the signal is looking promising at the moment. There's a break in the rain, so fingers crossed that we're going to have a lovely final tour. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Flick. Alrighty, so just wait for the time to tick over. We've got 5 minutes before we officially start. Hi, Kari. And this place is called, the name of this property is Ewan Rig. So you can't actually see it, it's back to front. They put up a little shed to take the tickets. So if you're able to reverse that, you'll be able to see that actually says Ewan Rig. This is the name of the property. Hi, YG. Hi, Faith. So let's just hover here for a moment. The signal again is wavering between 1 and 3 at this point. So, it's going up and down like a yo-yo again. We've got some lovely, I think these are crabapple blossoms here above us. And there's a really beautiful camellia flower just over there. I'm not going to go into the garden, but let's just zoom in on it because it's so pretty. Look at that. It's so pretty. All right. Let me know what the signal's looking like right now. I know I can see it's bouncing around. Terribly frustrating. But sticky. I did do a video after I closed the tour at the last garden, and I'm going to post that on YouTube and share the link with you all as my way of making it up to you. So here we've got 3 different kinds of azaleas. Look at them. We've got the really big showy one. It's not raining. It's not raining, Kari. In fact, it's actually brightened up a little. So look at this. We've got this really big showy one next to this teeny tiny little one here. Look at that. It's so tiny. And then over behind it, we've got the red one that's also tiny. Hi, Jean. So we're standing in the front driveway until we get closer to kick-off time. There's some more bluebells over here. There is a path through there, but I think we might leave that till we're leaving. Okay, there's my first battery warning. I've been sitting in the car charging everything, and we're going to all cross our fingers and hope that signal holds, the battery lasts. And if you see me running for the street, you'll know that I'm trying to get in the second tour, second garden, before everything cuts out on me. We've got this lovely little pond here. Look at this. This is still just in the front garden of this property. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Chelsea. Did I say hi, Vivian? I think I did. If not, hi. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Just for a minute before start time. So I'm just very slowly moving around the front garden here. Beautiful house. Look at this gorgeous tree here. All right, you know what? Just because I know that we're going to have problems either with battery or signal or something, I'm actually going to say hi to you all now, a minute ahead of time, and we may have to just be aware that we may need to cut off early. All right, so hi again, everyone. My name's Lynn, if you haven't met me before, and we're in the Blue Mountains in a village called Leura at the third tour today at the Leura Gardens Festival. And before we begin, I skipped doing this last time because I was stressing out about the signal. I would like to acknowledge that we're meeting today on the traditional lands of the Darug and Gundungurra people and pay respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. And I can feel droplets of rain on me. We're going to turn the camera around. Be aware, everybody, just in case we may need to, either through rain or battery or signal, we may need to cut this tour short, but we will persevere for as long as we possibly can. Alrighty. Hi, Mary Lou. Hi, Tamitha. And let's move on into the garden. We have a lovely old house. For those who've only just joined, the property is called Ewan Rig. And of course, being a cold climate or cool climate garden, it's full of the azaleas and camellias, maples. Looks like they've dressed up this little pond with some camellia flowers here. Okay, again, we're battling the signal. We're just going to persevere as much as possible. Moving through the garden, look at this. This is a variegated camellia, and it looks like it's a double. Okay, we've got the low battery warning now for the battery pack. I literally sat in the car for the last 3/4 of an hour trying to charge everything up, and we could strike difficulties. Hi, Judy. Hi, Anita. Hi, Virginia. Anyway, we will battle on for as long as we can.
Make sure we get the right one.
Look at this magnolia. I think it's a magnolia. And then the perimeter of the property is these very tall camellias in the background there. Hi, Leah. This is a lovely camellia, the white one. And we're getting 1 bar again, so I'm going to keep moving again. Let's just let these people past. We're just about to cross a little bridge. There's a stream down there. So pretty. Wow, look at that. Look at the moss on those rocks there. I'm going to switch my battery to the gimbal now because I do not want to lose you. Right, let's see if that's any better. I can see that we've got 2 bars now. That might help. Everything's about the moss in the mountains at the moment. There's moss everywhere. I can see that this could be a really short tour. Oh dear. Looks like I might have to invest in more battery packs. I can't believe that I've got my phone almost permanently connected to a battery pack and I still run out of battery. Anyway, never mind. All right, so that looks like they've kept that part of the garden private. Unless there's another way of getting to it. Let me see. There's people over there. This has not been my day. You're not wrong. That's backing onto Leura Golf Course over there. See the little golf buggies. So how are people getting round there? Let me see. We're not called Explore with Lynn for nothing. Must be the next door property. Ah, yes, this is blocked off. Still, look at this. That's a pretty view. If you don't have that little notice in it, let's see if I can get that out. We'll do some visual cropping. Maybe go up. Let's go up. Yeah, people are over there. I don't know how they get there. And it's not across this little bridge, so there must be another way to get over there. But that looks so pretty, doesn't it? Look at that. The height of the garden, do you mean elevation above sea level, YG? Leura, the village, is around about, I think it's about 950, something like that, metres above sea level. It's a pretty house next door. This actual garden, I couldn't tell you specifically what the elevation right at this point is. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get over to that other side where all those other people are. Must be a way to get there. Let's see that people have slipped over here. Hi Zeelan, hi Mia. Okay, let's get back over this bridge. And that fella was getting right down in the stream, which I'm not sure you're supposed to do. This doesn't. There are other parts of the garden that had ropes across saying not to go, so this part doesn't. Let's see if we can go up here. Oh yeah, wow, here we go. Could easily miss this. The beautiful rhododendrons there. I can see that we are down to 1 bar again, which always makes me very nervous. This is gorgeous. A lot smaller than the other two gardens we were at this morning. Much more intimate. Thanks for the follow, Leah. Okay. Here we are. Look at this. Standing at this point here, we were just down on that grass without being too intrusive. This is the gorgeous, gorgeous conservatory at the back of the house. So we're going to walk around and down onto that lower path. Oh, this view is beautiful from here. All right, I do have to watch my step here. We've got tree roots and moss going downhill, so it's a recipe for a fall. Take it a little bit careful coming down. Yes. Super careful. Super, super careful. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Hi, Evie. So there's a little natural stream coming through here, comes off the golf course and runs right through their backyard. And that was the little bridge that we crossed earlier. It was just over behind those trees there. Oh, big puddle. Excellent. Okay, let's try and negotiate this. There we go. Made it. Worth it. Totally worth it. Look at these rocks here. Aren't they amazing? Look at them. They're incredible. Hi, Terry. And then in behind here we've got the azaleas. And a whole lot of bluebells tucked in there. Hi, Ava. Yeah, sorry, Virginia, I've had all sorts of connection issues today. As I said, keep an eye out for the YouTube link to my previous tour. I don't think I'm going to get to do it here because you have to show a QR code every time you join a tour, and it only allows you one entry, so I'm not going to be able to come back in. Oh, why didn't I see this path before? Thanks for joining anyway, Virginia. All right, I'm going to walk out to the next garden. So this is the path that runs through the garden at the front of the property. Hi, Jan. Very slippery here. Ooh. What did I say? At least I'm still on my feet. I don't think I'm going to go down there. I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it. Okay, we're going to avoid that. We're not going down there. I'm not going to risk it. We're going back up here. All right? Okay, sometimes you just have to make a call on these things, don't you? That's enough of that for today. All right, so what's going to happen is we're going to walk out to the street, along to the next garden. Did you enjoy that one? All right, so we have to walk along the street here to the next garden, and I'm going to have to dip my phone slightly for just a moment so they can scan the QR code for my entry into the second garden. But you get to see some of the street around here, some of the other lovely houses and gardens as we walk along the street. Gosh, the signal around this part of town is terrible. Look at these gorgeous crabapple trees. That's an enormous hedge up there. Look, imagine trimming that. And then this is the second garden. And I'm just trying to remember the name of it. All right, so when we get in here, I'm going to have to change screens. Hello. Hi, I'm on a live stream. I can't cut it off, but if I do this the right way, I know that you will get to see. Let's go around here first of all. Sorry, what's the name of this garden?
Fairways.
Fairways, thank you. That'll be because it backs onto the golf course. Okay, so here we are at Fairways. And looks like we're greeted first of all with, I don't know, is it a tennis court or a basketball court or something? Something up here. Let's get you a nice shot here. Okay. Do you know what? I was going to do 3 more gardens tours tomorrow, but after today's experience, I think I'm going to cancel them all. Does anyone mind? It's just been... Oh, seriously. Anyway, let's not worry about tomorrow right now. Yes, clever tulips, aren't they? They're very, very obliging. So in here we've got some, looks like freshly planted lavender. Also very, very young lavender there. Look at this beautiful weeping cherry sitting next to a lovely old, I'm guessing a plum. With this little bridge next to it. Oh yeah. The thing is, the ticket doesn't allow you multiple entries. I was hoping to go back to Everglades tomorrow, and I jigged it all around so they were all at different times to what I did today, and then found out, no, it's only single entry. So I would have had to give you different tours, different gardens anyway. But the way the signal's carrying on, I can't see that it's worth it, Jane. I'll have a think about it tonight. I'll see if I can slot in 1 or 2 to replace the ones that I had planned to go back to. Let's have a look there. So we've got ferns, these olds. They look really old, these blossom trees. I wonder if they're actual fruit trees. I wonder if they actually do fruit. Maybe it will be a sunny day tomorrow. It's just been terrible today. And I can see I'm down at 1 bar, so you're probably getting a pixelated image. There's another crabapple, looking very pretty. And this beautiful house. Look at the lovely old house. Okay, how are we doing, guys? How's the image looking? Excellent, thanks, Jen. Well, at least that's working out. These are pretty daffodils. Lovely colour. Hi, Phoenix. It's a lovely table setting, isn't it? Imagine coming out here with your morning tea and sitting here. It's just lovely. And that's an unusual colour. Magnolia, it's like a lemon yellow. All right, this way isn't barred, so I'm assuming it's okay. I feel like I'm going the wrong way, but yep, there are ropes with no entry at certain points, but this appears to be okay to go through here. All right, well, that was kind of brief, short and sweet, wasn't it? Is there anything else you'd like me to return to? I can't go back to the previous garden. Is there anything else you'd like me to look at while I'm still here? Look at the size of that rhododendron. That's a rhododendron, that one there. It's huge. It's massive. These are pretty. I've tried to grow these before and I never have any luck with them. We've got one lonely little tulip. Hi Chloe, hi Cece. I think this is going to end up being a shorter tour than I'd originally intended because they're only quite small gardens. I can go back around this one a second time. Let's see if we can get a different angle of the bridge. It's a very pretty house. All right, we'll go around once more. We'll go around this one more time. Vivian, $40 for the whole weekend, and that allows you to go into every garden on the trail, and there are 8. So I could come back tomorrow and go back to ones I haven't been in before. So, but I've covered off 4 today, and I think I've covered off the best of the 4. Yes, so I just need to have a think about it because we've struggled today. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. Venues along the way have cafes, toilets, that sort of thing as well. Everglades was having an art exhibition. I believe it's only for this weekend. But have a look at the Leura Gardens Festival website. Leura Gardens Festival, I think it is .com.au. And there's information on all the gardens in there as well, including the history of some of them. And there's a Leura Village Fair, what's it called? Leura Village Fair, I think, next weekend. I don't think the Gardens Festival is being extended over next weekend and coinciding with it, but I could be wrong about that. To get into this one, you have to go out the front and around. They are, aren't they? Hi, EXO. I'm not sure what you mean by that remark. Do you have your cat standing on your keyboard? This is pretty here. I'm just a little... there's a particular path we're supposed to stand on. I just tried to get a little bit closer. Alrighty, when we get back out to the street, I'll finish up. So I know I'm finishing up early, but my battery's not going to hold out. And I can see that the signal's really struggling as well, so... I'll have a look on my house. It's a new house. And look at the trees next door. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, someone took a slip. It's so slippery on these flagstones with the moss. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again. I am going to call this one early. It's been a challenging day. I have wet feet. That's not a big deal. Wet feet isn't a big deal. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I always appreciate your company on all my tours. And without you, my tours wouldn't be possible. So once again, let me just show you where we're standing. This is Leura. This is Gladstone Street. Webbed feet. Yeah, need it today. Some of the terrain that I've been over. Take those shoes and socks off. I plan to. So that's where we've just come out from. Let me get back to my car and then I'll put my umbrella down. So I've got two hands and I can say goodbye to you all. Brightened up again. Let's go over to this dry stone wall. Oh, what an exciting day we've had. All right, there we go. Umbrella down. Flip my hair back. Oh, nice open fire would be lovely, wouldn't it? Okay. Signal is good now. Go figure. Yeah, exactly. You know? Go figure indeed. All right, everyone. That's me done for the day. It's been fun. It's been wet. We've had our technical challenges. Look, I did video in the Braze, so I'm going to upload that to YouTube and I'll share the link so you can all see the bits that you didn't get to see because the signal cut out completely and disconnected, which was such a pain. And look, my next tour, I haven't got one for a few days, but we've got wombats coming up. That's just one of the animals. We're going to Featherdale. We're going to Featherdale in a week's time, Monday week. And I promise you, Featherdale is one of the best, if not the best, wildlife park in Australia. It has more Australian species than any other, and you can get really up close, and it's just a lovely, intimate wildlife park. So I highly recommend joining me for that one. And then the following day we're going to Auburn Botanic Gardens, which is a Japanese garden, and they have a little wildlife corner as well, so we get to see wombats 2 days in a row. The following day, which is the 12th of October, a very sombre day in the Australian calendar, and it marks the 20th anniversary of the Bali bombings. The 12th of October is also my 2 sons' birthdays, 3 years apart. So, oh, Kari, you'd completely lost Wi-Fi. It's just one of those days, isn't it? All right, well, let's all quit while we're ahead, and don't forget that the way that I'm able to offer these tours is through your generosity. So if you're able to support me in any way that you can, I'm always very grateful. And on that note, I'm going to wish you all farewell and see you again on another tour soon. If I do happen to book anything for later this week, it'll be in the notifications. Okay. Bye for now, everyone. Look, no rain. No rain. There's even a hint of brightness up there. Could have done with that a little bit earlier today. All right. Bye, guys.
All right, so that was the Gardens Festival. That was day 1. I'm still here, Dorley. That's the fun of doing it. We're doing it live this way, is that I can come back and talk to you all. And you all got to meet Cora. Thank you for coming along, Cora. So you got to see how we one way that we can use StreamYard, and I'm going to talk to you about that when we meet next. We're meeting again. What is it, 4 p.m. my time this afternoon. It'll be tomorrow morning your time. So, and you're all talking about the length of my hair and chat and various things. And Cora, I met all of these wonderful people through a platform called Hago, which was a virtual streaming platform that started during COVID and had at one point something like 10,000 users. And we are kind of the end result of that closing down 2 years ago, and we've managed to keep some of the community together, and many of those are in the group that I've introduced you to on Facebook. So I will introduce you to the group once we have a working tour up and running for you. As you may have gathered, Cora is very new to live streaming, and I'm helping her getting up and running with even using how she's going to go live in terms of using StreamYard, and whether or not she's going to be using her laptop from home, or whether she's going to use a gimbal and her phone out and about. We're going to go through all of that. I'm also going to help her work out the best way that she can be financially supported. So I noticed that you place an entry fee on your description. I'm going to have a chat to you about that as well, because Cora is the comment immediately above you, teacher Miss Nika from South Africa. And she is currently a virtual or online teacher of English, I believe. Is that right, Cora? And who wants to get into live streaming her country, her beautiful country. She has a very new YouTube channel with a few videos about African wildlife, and really we want to encourage and help her get up and running on the calendar and live streaming successfully. So once we have a tour up and working, I will be announcing that in the group, and I want everyone to support Cora and really cheer her on, because I'm expecting great things. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be good. It's going to be wonderful to have someone from South Africa. You guys mentioned Justin. Oh, he was fantastic. I loved when he was pottering around in the rock platforms, identifying little sea urchins and things. And who else? I just looked in my list. I've actually got the list of all the guides, and there's someone here called Kirsten Kuhn. Does anyone remember Kirsten? I don't remember her at all. So, and these are all people that I'm really still trying to get in contact with and seeing if they can come back to streaming in some way, shape, or form. All right, everyone. So thanks for coming along today. My next tour is going to be on the weekend. Finally, the Wuthering Heights, the most Wuthering Heights event ever, is happening next Sunday. It's been rained out twice. They've rescheduled the date twice. For anyone who remembers, we did that in the Blue Mountains 3 years ago, and it happens everywhere. If you look on YouTube and if you look up most Wuthering Heights Day ever, you'll see lots of events. I saw one in Uppsala in Sweden. I saw a couple in the US. There was one in Sydney. It started in the UK in Brighton as a world record attempt, a Guinness World Record attempt for the most people dancing to Wuthering Heights ever. And now it's become a thing that coincides with Kate Bush's birthday. It's really fun. Everyone dresses in the red dress and with a flower in the hair, and it's just lovely. It's so much fun. So that's on Sunday for me, my time. I'm also working on videos at the moment. The following day at the Leura Gardens Festival, we went to the Fairmont Resort, and that was completely different to all the other gardens that we'd seen. No, Justin was South African, Laurie. You were talking about Matt Ermeni-Hazy. Yeah, Matt's a lot of fun, and he does just in-person guided tours now. I've actually went out and spent a day with him. There was a possibility that I was actually going to be helping him out doing some of his live tours, in-person tours, but that didn't quite go ahead. He has a very full-on day. He charges very good money for people to have a very personal tour, and he spends the entire day with them. They start in Sydney. They stop at an upmarket cafe. They go and look at lookouts and waterfalls and wildlife parks and all sorts of things. Someone please introduce me to the South African guides. We don't actually have anyone at the moment, Cora, on the calendar from South Africa, apart from Matt, actually Pam's from South Africa as well. She lives in Canada now. Pam is located in Banff in Canada, Lake Louise, and she streams the beautiful Lake Louise there. Matt is from South Africa. His family is still there, but he's based in Hong Kong now. And I think he hasn't done any tours for quite a while. I think he's currently traveling in China with his family. Sorry, what does Matt say? I might have missed something. And yes, she says you'll be our South African star, Cora. So I'll send you the link to Matt in Hong Kong's Facebook group, Cora, and yeah, please reach out to him. But at the moment, I think he teaches English in Hong Kong, so he's probably doing pretty much the same thing as you are. In fact, you could probably compare notes on that. I'm pretty sure that's what he does. But at the moment, he's traveling with his family, and he tends to mainly just do recordings and then present the recordings the same way as I've done today, rather than getting out live. All right, I'm going to finish up here. Thank you, everyone. Cora, we'll talk later today. Tomorrow morning your time. Later today for me, and everyone else. Please keep an eye out for more events on the calendar coming up. right about now, you might want to switch over to Elizabeth, who is in Colca Canyon in Peru. So why don't I let you all head on over and see Elizabeth in spectacular Peru. Okay, everyone, thanks. Bye for now. And as always, I am very grateful for any support that you can throw my way. Always very appreciative of that. Okay, thank you. Bye for now. The calendar's amazing now. Thank you, Tish. Yeah, we're trying. We're filling it with lots of stuff while most of the guides are off doing in-person stuff. So I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Enjoy your day. Have fun. See you.